We're going on back to 1917. We're meeting the Runaways, spending some time with Gene Seberg, and we're going to set about cleaning up the town. I'm Van Connor.
And I'm Becks Perfect, and this is Offscreen, your 7-day guide to everything movies. Boom. Hi, man.
Hey, Becks, it's movie time.
Wow, that is so loud in my ear.
Oh, I'm sorry.
For all anyone knows, this is the morning.
Yeah,
right
that's true,
now,
that's
that
true.
was way too early. You're excited, though. 2020 has kicked off. We've got a load of movies that have happened this week. It's going to be award season very soon. So, it's already award season, isn't it? But it's kicking off and it's ramping up a page. And now we've got probably one of the big hitters in week one of this year.
We really have. We literally kind of starting as we mean to go on. But
hopefully.
We will get to 1917. Our first one, though.
I wasn't going to give it away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've ruined the surprise. I thought all the bus ads and things had done it for me.
No, that's Messiah on Netflix.
Oh, is that what that is? Oh, okay. You see, I keep getting Messiah and that gay Jesus thing on Netflix confused. You know,
two very, very different films.
This one that people in
TV
South
shows.
America are really annoyed about.
Yeah, you'll be saying you're getting it confused with Hail Satan in a minute. But
No, nothing can compete with Hail Satan. So let's talk about Seberg then, because we saw this together a couple of days ago.
We did. It was our first date of
First date of
2020.
2020. Oh, first date.
I came in and I was like, hi guys, how was your Christmas? Okay, shut up. We're going to watch something about someone that nobody knows who she is.
Did you have that as well? Because I wasn't overly familiar. I knew who Gene Seberg was, but I didn't know.
To be honest, French New Wave cinema was beyond me at that point as well.
Have you ever seen Breathless?
No, I haven't seen Breathless,
Or the
but
remake?
I do know. Who was in the remake?
I think it's Richard Gere, isn't it?
And was it called Breathless?
It was called Breathless. I believe,
it was a straight remake then.
Mark Kermode famously prefers the remake to the original, which incidentally is how I feel about the Italian Job. But controversial take.
Nice. Okay. Well, Kristen Stewart is playing the role of Gene Seberg.
She is.
So it's based in the late 1960s. So this is a kind of a microscopic take on a certain part in Gene Seberg's life. So what happened was she became the target of the FBI due to her support of the civil rights movement, and also she became romantically involved with a Black Panther activist.
Hakeem Jamal, I think his name was.
Yes, I left that out because I forgot the name. As the surveillance basically tightens, and it's actually what happens is essentially the FBI have taken it to an extreme with their level of surveillance. She finds that her life and career basically spirals out of control, and she's not able to trust anyone.
You swing by in your limousine, open your legs and your checkbook, and you think that gives you the right to anything you want.
I only ever wanted to help.
Well, that doesn't make you a better person. That makes you a tourist.
To defame somebody who speaks out against their government is a type of persecution.
You run around with a handful of nails looking for a cross to die on.
You deserve to know the truth.
Woman has her secrets.
There's a couple of ways of looking at this. For me, it's one of those films, I think if you learn about someone new that you're not too familiar with and you end up going off and Googling about them afterwards to try and find out, mainly to see whether or not Kristen Stewart looks exactly like her.
She's not a bad likeness, actually.
No, it's
not
a really,
bad.
really good likeness, yeah. And she plays the role really well. I think that kind of element of a movie is interesting. What I think it was lacking was artistic license.
Well, I don't know. For me, it just never seemed to get interesting enough.
Yeah.
I mean, the story is fascinating. I mean, the story of how they set out to just absolutely discredit and ruin her, and the sort of understandable toll that then takes on her. First of all, I think Kristen Stewart's brilliant. I think she's genuinely great.
Yeah.
But she's better than the film. She's way better than the film.
Well, this is the thing, and I think we've discussed this before, is I think Kristen Stewart, Jack O'Connell, Vince Vaughn, they all signed up to this project thinking, it's a life story, it's someone...
Oscar written all
yeah,
over it.
doesn't it just... it just doesn't take off, like you say. It plods along.
Interesting thing about this premiered at the Venice Film Festival last year. What happened at the Venice Film Festival last year? Joker debuted and dominated the conversation.
Yeah.
So this sort of got buried under Joker, effectively. And when you see the two films side by side, it's not hard to see why Joker would overpower this, because it's a surprisingly lifeless film. There is obviously an intention to go quite deep and introspective with it.
So there were things that I thought it was missing. I thought it was missing a tussle between the FBI agents over what was morally right versus what was being done. And then I thought it was missing the artistic license of having one of the FBI agents, particularly Jack O'Connell on this, having a romantic interest in Gene Seberg.
Yeah.
because we saw a glimpse
There's
of
a
it.
hint of it, yeah. And there's a great scene with Margaret Qualley, for instance.
Yeah.
Andy McDowell's daughter, by the way.
I
Did you
know,
that?
she's really good in it.
Now, that's the thing. You said, talk about good in this. Jack O'Connell. Never liked Jack O'Connell in anything before. Always found him a bit one note. Seems he found a second note. So,
do you know what?
Well played.
He plays the kind of 50s, 60s like husband.
G-man.
Yeah, but he's kind of like alpha male, but he's still got a heart to him. It's a good balance.
Just doesn't quite work. And I think the third act, it does race for the finish line as well, because it spends so much time sort of waffling and there's a lot of plot that it just sort of casts aside, that when it gets to that third act, it's like, oh, we need to do this plot now. And the third act just feels a lot faster paced than the previous two.
There's a lot of chat about what the Black Panthers would do in this, but you never actually see them do anything.
Although Anthony Mackie I quite like as...
he was very good. This is the thing. This is a film which has got a great cast.
Go on, Meanie. Go on, Meanie. Love me some corn, Meanie.
It's got, it's got all the elements that are needed towards having a really solid movie. It just never takes flight.
No, it doesn't.
And this is the big problem with it. And I think for that reason, go and watch it on a Sunday afternoon if you're kind of, interested and it's not necessarily at cinema. Don't pay to go and watch this. I hate saying that about movies, but you're going to waste your money, aren't you?
Well, you are. This is, again, it's yet another case of a great Kristen Stewart performance that's only going to get seen by 5 cardigan wearers and the people who frequent your local art house cinemas at OAP discount day. For me...
Hi.
1 thumb up from me. What are you giving it?
Yeah, I'm going to give it 1 thumb up as well.
Yeah.
It feels like there could have been so much more to this to get your heart racing, to get it competing with Joker at Venice.
Yeah, definitely.
There could have been so much more.
So we've got just under 2 minutes then to talk about a documentary feature for the week. This is a documentary about a very beloved property within our pop culture framework. It's Cleaning Up the Town, Remembering Ghostbusters. Remind me of the directors' names. It's
Anthony and Claire Bueno, who I do know, and I'm going to give a shout out to. Hello, congratulations, well done. It's been years in the making, and I know this is a labour of love for them. This is essentially anyone who is obsessed with Ghostbusters.
There's a fair few of those around.
This is your dissection of every single moment that happened in towards the making of the film.
When we were doing it, we actually thought we were doing something for the ages.
I thought, why not mix the real world of psychic research and make a good old-fashioned ghost comedy?
I think we fully believed that we were going to carve out a little niche in film history.
And I just got this wonderful shiver down my back that I was about to do something special.
There's nothing else like it. It's funny and fresh.
I can genuinely say this is the definitive documentary about the making of Ghostbusters, and that is at once both a compliment and a detriment.
Okay.
There are things that annoy me. For instance, predictably enough, obviously, there's no footage of Bill Murray being interviewed, which that annoys me. But
Such a shame.
That's more to do with him, though, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is.
Also, there's a choice made to fixate entirely on the specifics of the film rather than the legacy of it, where it stands. They include, for instance, in the logo.
I didn't mind that.
Did you not? But in the logo, the actual logo of the film, it includes the logos for both Ghostbusters 1 and 2. You're like, again, they don't mention Ghostbusters 2. But having said that, I know that there is another cut of the film that's being put into the limited theatrical release that's about half an hour longer.
Okay.
So I don't know
because it's only like 90
up.
minutes
Yes,
at the moment.
96, I think, exactly.
96 minutes. Do you know what I really liked about this? Is that I like to geek out about how movies are made, what kind of happens with it, and I think this does it really well. Goes into all of that detail about how Slimer, the prosthetics, and all that kind of stuff was done. I love the fact that... I don't know if they managed to interview Harold Ramis, if this has gone on.
No, the arc is archival. Yeah.
Well, it fits in really nicely with all the other things. And I love the story of how Sigourney Weaver basically, she came on board and everyone was like, they tried Daryl Hannah for the role, loads of different people, but they never thought they'd get Sigourney, and she basically begged them to be part of the film.
Well, that's because I didn't realise that she's such a theatre actress, Sigourney Weaver, at that point as well. And I watched this with my roommate, Ghostbusters fanatic, Stranger Things fanatic, so you can imagine how excited he is this year. And we had recently watched Netflix's The Movies That Made Us and its Ghostbusters episode, and that one features interviews sort of current, so I think Harold Ramis isn't involved, for instance. But this features interviews that are, I would say, at a guess, 15 to 20 years old. Still don't include Bill Murray, because getting him to talk about Ghostbusters...
Hey, I had a thumb war with Bill Murray. It's a highlight of my career. Yeah, on the red carpet, and he was delightful, and he let me win.
He let you win. He let you win. winning.
Yeah, there was nothing competitive about that at all.
You beat up an old man at a thumb war, Becks. Come on.
Say what? No, overall, I think this is a solid insight into the world of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I think you'll get, if you're interested in the movie, you'll get everything you want out of it. I agree with you on the legacy point of view. I think it does lack that side of thing, but from a technical perspective, understanding the funding, the origins, how they actually pulled it together, where people came from in order to come together to make this movie, that really worked for me on this documentary.
For me, I'm going to give it one thumb again because I found it a bit too needlessly overly in depth. For instance, on things like there were certain special effects, for instance, where it feels like this one person is talking for 15 minutes about one special effect, and Sav and I just looking over at each other like, what is he still talking? Like, really? And obviously, you understand that's this guy's legacy work. I didn't know that when they put the film out, they left about 2/3 of the crew off the credits list.
Yeah.
That had to get changed. I did not know that. But I did learn things. I am a Ghostbusters fanatic. The Ghostbusters fanatic in me wants to give it 2 glaring thumbs. The realist in me gives it sort of a 1.5.
I was just going to say mine would be a 1.5 for this. No thumb wars, though.
No thumb wars. No thumb wars, no Bill Murray.
No. So the next film that we're going to be talking about today is, I suppose, another small independent film. It's not
British.
really something... British film, okay, not something that you necessarily would have heard about, but you might need to hear about it. It's called The Runaways. I know nothing about this.
So this is a funny one for me, actually. Okay, so you know how you knew the directors of Cleaning Up the Town?
Yes.
One of my Facebook friends produced this.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a hashtag ad.
It's so weird. One of my Facebook friends produced this, and then Johnny Hearn, our mutual friend and talk radio film critic, he had another friend who was another one of the producers.
I tell you what, 2020 is a very good day for networking within the film industry.
It really is, isn't it? So, written and directed by Richard Heap, this stars Mark Addy as the single-parent patriarch of 3 children. They live in a shack in Whitby, and basically their income, what meagre income they have, is made from hosting donkey rides, effectively, on the beach. Mark Addy's wayward brother returns from a lengthy stint in prison. He's played by, I think it's Lee Boardman, who I remember from Rome. I think he played Timon in Rome. Okay. And because I'm a big John Milius fan. John Milius, Conan John Milius. And he returns home. Obviously, something has gone on in the past. He claims that Mark Addy owes him money and owes him his life back. Mark Addy then dies under mysterious circumstances, and Lee Boardman, the evil uncle, basically lays claim to this scattershot would-be kingdom of his, and it's left to the children to basically take the donkeys and flee to mummies.
I'm sorry. I'm the next of kin. Everything's mine. You've got till tomorrow. Pack up your stuff.
We need to get as far away from here as possible. Where are we going? We're going to Mum's. You what?
Everyone's looking for you guys. I've seen the policeman on the TV.
Can't be us.
Maybe I'm mixing up with the 3 children and 2 donkeys I saw earlier.
This is a bonkers storyline. In fact, my head hurts from hearing it.
Right. So this on the one hand feels like sort of an old school adventure, something like Swallows and Amazons. Do you remember Swallows and Amazons a couple of years ago? And again, at the other side of that, something like an Enid Blyton story, but a bit kitchen sinky. It's like a kitchen sink Enid Blyton, if you can imagine that.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if this is for me,
It's very Yorkshire. You know what I mean? Like
I'm a southern girl.
Yeah, I'm just it's so Yorkshire that I was looking through the cast and crew credits to say, right, who do I know that was involved in the making of this? And I was like, oh, Mark Thomas, I know him. But I say, very well made film, glorious visuals. I say Whitby and North Yorkshire. Obviously, it looks the part because beautiful scenery, great performances in there from the 3 child leads. Mark Addy in his small diminished roles, and he gets a few flashbacks and things as well.
Yeah.
Mark Addy, I forget how heartwarming Mark Addy is as a presence because it's been a long time since he was in Game of Thrones now, and Full Monty and Fred Flintstone, things like that.
Well, it's good to kind of get that talent in on something like this.
Yeah,
low budget British film.
Well, he obviously is the name talent. That's, there's always got to be that one name who helps secure funding and things like that. It clearly was Mark Addy in this case. Lee Boardman, I think, is very good in it as well. Even if he does kind of at some points remind you of what you'd imagine Robbie Williams must look like first thing on New Year's morning. But could not get that idea out of my head. But the problem with it for me is there was a lot of sort of, I would say, thematic and almost charm-based setup that never seemed to go anywhere. There's, for instance, the opportunity to do comedic things with the donkeys, like they're trying to sneak them on trains and things like that. That you think kind of more of that would have gone a long way. It's a bit too sour, it's a bit too kitchen sinky, and sometimes you feel like you need those glimmers of light in what is otherwise a really bleak film. But the performances do set it apart, they do carry it through. I think Richard Heape's done a great job, both behind the keyboard and behind the actual camera. I don't think it's for everyone. Like I say, it's nihilism.
Doesn't sound like it's for me.
Yeah, it's nihilism will set it back a bit, I think.
And it'll be on limited release, won't it?
It will, but to be honest, this is a film that I think is going to find its audience most definitely when it winds up hitting BBC One, BBC Two in a couple of years' time. It becomes sort of a late Sunday afternoon film, which is absolutely where it needs to be.
Yeah. So how many thumbs are you going to give?
1.5 again from me. I'm aware we've got
Do you know
one,
what?
1.5, 1.5.
1.5 is fine. Like 2 is the top number.
Well, exactly that. So let's talk then about our heavy hitter of the week. So I know you've been raring to go on this one.
Yeah, I mean, it is the one that has picked up the Golden Globe for both Best Film and Best Director. It is, of course, 1917. Spoiler alert, Van said it in the opening credit bit. Thanks, Van.
I think there's a bus going to sail by any minute, waving it past our window,
Whatever. It's based on a set of tall stories, and I say tall stories, from Sam Mendes' own grandfather, who served in the First World War. But it follows 2 young soldiers who have been basically sent on what looks like quite a hopeless mission to go and save 1,600 soldiers from a potential ambush by the Germans.
Well, that's it, because it's a colonel who thinks he's found a break in the lines, but aerial photography has shown that it's not. It's a new front. Yeah. They're all going to die, but they can't get in touch with him to warn him, and one of the men is, of course, one of the soldiers' older brothers.
The 2nd are due to attack the line shortly after dawn tomorrow. They have no idea what they're in for. And we can't warn them. As a parting gift, the enemy cut all our telephone lines. Your orders are to get to the 2nd at Quasi Wood, 1 mile southeast of the town of Auguste. Deliver this to Colonel Mackenzie. It is a direct order to call off tomorrow morning's attack. If you don't, it will be a massacre. We will lose 2 battalions, 1,600 men, your brother among them. You think you can get there in time?
Yes, sir.
And this, for me, the big thing that everyone's kind of going on about this is it's a one-take wonder, right?
No, it ain't.
No, I saw
3.
I saw 2.
Did you see 2?
I saw
3.
2 cut points. But do you know what? I bet we sat through it and we're like looking out for this because we're geeks like that.
I'll be honest. I was looking for the seams in the digital edit. I think I've spotted a fair few of them, to be honest.
Okay.
But I actually did the Me Movies review for this yesterday. I've actually seen the movie a second time since.
Now, the question is have you seen it in a cinematic environment?
I have. I
Okay,
did have
good.
the pleasure. And obviously, you should see this on the biggest screen.
100%.
Fantastic to look at, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow. I mean, on the one hand, this is IMAX brought to life. This is World War I for IMAX.
Yeah,
surely.
and I saw it in the Dolby screening room. So, you've got Dolby Atmos and everything, and you need to feel immersed in this because what it does is it gives you that understanding of just how grim life was like in the trenches, and also, more troublingly, just how young the boys were.
Very true. I mean, I will say though, it's breathtaking. The limited use of shots, the few number of shots that they use, does help with that immersion. It does keep the momentum going. I think the 2 stars of this are obviously Sam Mendes, who is juggling so many balls with this one.
Yeah.
There are so many moving parts to this, but also more importantly, I think Roger Deakins. Beautiful cinematography. There is a
100%.
sequence, so that sequence involving fire.
Yeah.
That you just look at and think, wow, this is more rapturous than most horror movies.
Yeah.
You could literally film Dante this way.
Yeah.
It's
Do you know
insane.
what? As well, like the 2 stars of it. So George McKay and Dean Charles Chapman. Now,
this is where we're going to disagree. But go on.
No. So I thought George McKay I really liked, and I thought he was a good lead in this. The film centres on them. Obviously, you've got big names, but they are literally cameos in this.
So it's like Private Ryan, where they get the big names to sort of pop up here and there
exactly.
along
So
the
Colin
way,
Firth, Benedict Cumberbatch, Andrew Scott, Mark Strong, Richard Madden. Dean Charles Chapman had a bit of a amateur dramatics kind of feel to him in a way. I didn't think he was particularly accomplished as an actor in this movie, but I actually thought that worked.
Really?
Because I thought his naivety and kind of boisterousness of, nope, we're going to go and do it. Actually, if you're thinking about the boys on the front line that actually might do it, I actually thought that kind of worked. That it was quite jarring to start with, and a bit sort of like, tally-ho, let's go, I'm going to go off to war kind of thing. But actually, surely that's maybe what they were like. I don't know.
I'm a fan of George Mackay. I'm a big fan of George Mackay. I met him once at one of Kermode's things, forgot his name, and just immediately went, Bromley! Because I'm such a fan of Pride.
Yeah.
Sidebar, if you've not seen Pride, see Pride.
Oh, it's one of
awesome.
the best films.
It is. I don't like him in this. I think the
Is
only...
he too posh for you?
No, I think the only direction he's been given is imagine if Nicholas Lyndhurst were in the trenches. As for Dean
That is cruel.
As for Dean Charles Chapman, I think you could have probably gotten the same performance out of a moist flannel.
No, but I am kind of with you on the fact that he wasn't quite right.
I mean, I think it is a technical exercise, a better technical exercise than it is a film.
Yeah.
And I think that is down entirely to the fact that I think it has two very ineffectual leads. I know you agree with half of that, but for me, the leads let it down.
I think there was a thinking behind having them not particularly be as accomplished in this.
10 years ago, Sam Claflin would have been the lead in this, and I think that would have been a lot better.
Maybe.
Someone like that. I also think the script isn't particularly very good. I think
there's not a lot to it.
Well, there's not, but I think the dialogue that's there is very wooden, very Stilton. I think it exposits sort of character specifics rather than giving you character development.
Yeah.
And I think these are the kinds of flaws that people will heap the praise on for the technical exercise and just sort of forget the flaws.
Well, I think, hang on, I think that's exactly why it's only being nominated for things like Best Director, Best Film.
Very telling.
Cinematography, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's going to pick up on all the technical categories. For me, the thing that it lacked as an overall film, and I will compare it to this other film, is urgency.
Yes. Well, no, I mean, it has some of that, but...
It goes in peaks and troughs, right? Yeah. And there are some parts of the bit in the trenches and bits that actually feel too clean for what that would have been like.
Not the first person who said that, actually.
And I don't know if that's me being mean about it, but actually that's how I felt. However, when you watch something like Dunkirk, you feel that urgency from start to finish.
That's it. For me, I think this needed a wider berth after Dunkirk. I still feel like Dunkirk was too soon before this, in a sense.
It's that ticking clock of Dunkirk that lives with me, works so well as an immersive experience. This took you through multiple emotions and don't get me wrong, it flew by, but as a technical film.
Can I give it two separate ratings on that level then? Can I say it gets 2 thumbs up as a technical exercise?
Fine, because I'll agree with you on that.
It gets 1 thumb up as a film.
I think I'm going to agree. Do you know what? I gave it when I was doing my reviews this morning, I gave it 4.5 out of 5. And I do think it lives up to that.
That's it. I think because most people are going to take it as the technical exercise.
Yeah.
And because on that level, it is a 2 thumbs up film.
Yeah,
hands
100%.
down.
Yeah.
And now a section we like to call Off-Screen Pays the Bills. Hey, Becks.
Oh, hey, man.
So, how are we paying the bills this week? Who we got sponsors?
Do you know what? We're gonna pay the bills thanks to Likewise, okay? So it is the only app that you need to discover what to watch or read next.
Now, that is interesting because you get loads of these apps these apps and these platforms and things that tell you, like, people rate movies and they rate books and things like that. So this is like a consolidated one. But also, if you're looking for films, it also tells you what platforms they're on.
Yeah, absolutely. It gives you tailored recommendations also from all of your friends and family, which I always love. I always listen to my mates on what they're watching. I'd sometimes listen to you too.
Well, I say, because we're film critics, and most of our mates are film critics, so that's quite handy. So you can search across all the streaming platforms. It supports recommendations for other things other than films, like books, podcasts, restaurants, more things like that.
Absolutely. And the more you use it, the better it gets as well. So it just becomes really, really intuitive. So it's super easy to use. All you need to do is download the Likewise app in the App Store or Google Play. Most of us have one or the other.
One or, yeah.
Or if you don't, for some weird reason, you can visit their website at likewise.com.
Then maybe you should use line drawings for your communications. You don't have an app store. You can just go on the website instead. Although I don't know how you'd access the site that way.
Van, don't tell people what you do in your personal time yet.
That's my fault, isn't it? Meanwhile, Sparks. We've got to talk about Sparks, which is this really cool idea for a new podcast app. This is in like an open beta at the moment.
Yeah.
So this is you're going to love this idea. So how often are you listening? Like our show, right? So someone's listening to our show and we talk about a movie and like, oh, I could write that down and I could look that film up. You know when we do the TV recommendations, so it says, oh, that sounds really good. I got to remember that's on Tuesday at 9. So you listen to the podcast in that app and it allows you to basically take notes and it saves them against the podcast episode.
That's amazing.
And it says open beta. There are new features coming. You're gonna be able to like organize and search your notes, and they stay like on your account and things.
Yeah, that's super cool. I mean, the fact that it's only launched in beta means get in there quick, right?
Exactly.
Be an
premium
early
starts.
adopter, tech people.
Because premium will come. That's what it is. You need to get in there now while it's free.
But you definitely want to join up, and you can help shape the future of learning through the podcast as well. It's super easy to do. All you need to do is go to the sparksapp.io and sign up to join the beta now.
I already have. So.
I know, you beat me to it only by a millisecond.
You know me, I love me a nerdy tech thing. I do. And podcasts and tech, I'm in.
Because you're a little bit of a bright spark, shall we say.
That's it. Yeah. They had me at absorb, retain, and apply your learning. I'm not going to lie.
Nice.
Those are 3 of my favorite buzzwords.
Yeah.
So Sparks app, check that out for your podcasts. And if you run a podcast, meanwhile, as we do, you obviously need to fund said podcast. And we've
do we? You haven't told me about the funding section.
Well,
it's how do you get paid for this?
Well, this is how we keep the lights on. That's what it is. So we use loads of different options to try and keep us afloat. And one of the ones we've discovered recently is Podcorn, which is a new marketplace.
Say it slower.
Podcorn. So it's popcorn with a D.
Good.
And so Podcorn is it's like a new marketplace for podcasters that sort of connects podcasters with the sponsorship opportunities. So rather than list your show and the brands come to you, this is sort of the other way around. You go to the brands and say, hey, I've got this show and I can do this.
Yeah, it's really good. Do you know what? It cuts out the middleman. I think that's what works really well on this.
Exactly.
And you never give up any rights to your podcast. And it's basically what I really like about Podcorn is that it's here to support you at every step. So you can make sure that you are being protected, you're compensated for the work that you're doing with brands. It also gives that kind of clarity and transparency as well. So all the legal stuff that you need to make sure you're doing correctly.
Exactly. So if you're a podcaster, you're interested, click the link in our show notes or the episode description to sign up to Podcorn and just start browsing now. Get on it. It's been great.
Yeah.
I mean, we've had a whale of a time with this.
Thanks, Podcorn.
But thanks, Podcorn. We have lights now.
Welcome back to Off Screen. Now, in our third of 4 segments today, we are talking, as is every day.
As is every day, yeah.
Yes, I know. I just thought it sounded more
It's
grand.
a new year. It's fun. We've got to get back into the swing.
We've got new audience members. So I'm just telling you how it all works.
People who got new phones for Christmas. You're just discovering us.
Yeah. But if you are a bit old school, you might be wanting to watch some movies on TV.
Remember TV? That was a thing. It's still a thing.
We have them in our homes. Yes. And we have a 7-day guide to all of the big movies that are out this week. And we're going to kick off on the Saturday. So that's when we start this. So tomorrow with Dirty Dancing, 5-star, 7 o'clock.
You've got to love Dirty Dancing. I mean, it's not.
Take me back to Kellerman's.
Well, I didn't like Dirty Dancing for the longest time. It's only this last few months.
Because you are not a teenage girl.
Well, I'm not, but I know women who, will merrily tell me about how, as children they just wanted to be baby.
Or wanted to be with Patrick Swayze.
Or wanted to be with Patrick Swayze, which is all sorts of terrifying.
I will carry a watermelon for him.
I carried a watermelon. So Dirty Dancing, of course.
Iconic.
Story of Baby Houseman goes to the Kellerman's Resort in the Catskills.
And she learns all about growing up.
They fired you anyway because of me.
And if I leave quietly, I'll get my summer bonus.
So I did it for nothing. I hurt my family. You lost your job anyway. I did it for nothing.
No, not for nothing, baby. Nobody has ever done anything like that for me before.
You were right, Johnny. You can't win no matter what you do.
You listen to me. I don't want to hear that from you. You can.
I used to think so.
Swayze.
I mean, if anyone goes on a summer holiday and meets someone that looks like Patrick Swayze in this film.
Yeah, I mean, I'll never get
Lock up your daughters.
Yeah, he's so much older than her as well. It terrifies me.
Oh, stop.
But I actually bought the Kellerman's t-shirt for someone for Christmas. I'm nice like that. But so
FYI, that someone was not me, and I'm disappointed in you right now.
I gave you peace and love. I just figured that
yeah,
would.
You did.
Okay, so yes, I mean Dirty Dancing. We'll go from Dirty Dancing then to one of my favourites.
One of my favourites.
Oh, really?
Films.
Is it?
It is the one film. When I got rid of my DVD collection, I had to keep it.
Oh God. Okay, so Sunday afternoon, Channel 5, 10 to 4, so 3:50, and it's Robert Zemeckis. I did not know he directed this.
Did you not?
I didn't.
Oh.
Because I saw it when I was about 9 years old. I barely knew who Zemeckis was.
I kind of watch this every couple of years.
I do now.
Have we told them what it is?
Oh, so it's Death Becomes Her, starring Meryl Streep, Goldie Hawn, and bloody Bruce Willis.
And Isabella Rossellini.
Oh, and Isabella Rossellini. I'd say it's about a failed actress, sort of washed-up actress, played by Meryl Streep. She loses her husband to his former flame, who used to be fat and decrepit, and now has come back young and hot, looking like Goldie Hawn.
And she wants the secret as to how she's done it, and it's not Weight Watchers.
You must make me a promise. The secret that we share must never become public. You may continue your career for 10 years, 10 years of perfect, unchanged beauty. But at the end of that time, before people become suspicious, you have to disappear from public view forever. You can retire, you can stage your own phony death, or, as one of my clients simply said, I want to be alone. No, she's not. Wow.
That's right, it's a magic potion. With Isabella Rossellini there. I mean,
know.
Wow.
She is so sexy in this.
I know. I mean, again, for the longest time, I did not know that was Isabella Rossellini.
Did you not?
And, oh, wow. I mean, she's really something in this film.
So this, I mean, everything from the incredible effects of the time. It's 1992.
92. Those effects, though. I mean, they hold up.
Yeah, amazing.
They still hold up. The shotgun. There's a shotgun
the
hole
twisted
through
necks.
One of them. And,
yeah, it's all brilliant. But the humour.
Yes.
This Bruce Willis, Meryl Streep, and Goldie Hawn. This is a triple threat of brilliant actors playing comedy so well. You won't get this with a group of actors playing a comedic role in this day and age. You just can't do this, I don't think, on this level. Back in the 90s, it kind of worked.
I feel like this is the kind of thing that if you tried to do it now would wind up becoming like a Seth Rogen vehicle.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whereas this kind of plays it. This is what mainstream comedies used to be in the early 90s.
Also, the technical feat of this really does blow your mind because of that time. You know, now we'd look at someone twisting their head or having a hole shot through them as just standard in a movie. It's like, well, okay, well, how much money did you throw at that one?
Exactly.
Back in the day, I would love to watch a movie like making of movies. This one.
So on to Monday then, 5-star, 11 p.m. One of my favourite comedies of the 2000s. It is Harold and Kumar Go to White Castle, aka Harold and Kumar Get the Munchies, the first of the Harold and Kumar trilogy that culminates in one of my favourite ever Christmas movies. It is the story of Cal Penn and John Cho who get baked one night and set out for that perfect burger at White Castle. And of course, along the way, stop off to introduce Anthony Anderson in a cameo as the drive-thru manager of a rival burger chain.
As a Burger Shack employee for the past 3 years, if there's one thing I've learned, it's that if you're craving White Castle, the burgers here just don't cut it. In fact, just thinking about those tender little White Castle burgers, with those little itty-bitty grilled onions that just explode in your mouth like flavor crystals every time you bite into one, just makes me want to burn this mother down. Come on, Boogie, let's burn this mother down! Boogie, let's burn this mother down! Let's burn it! So, you guys maybe should just suck it up and go to White Castle.
Burn it down. I love me some Anthony Anderson.
This isn't the one. I think I'm thinking of like Dude, Where's My Car, where they're ordering at a drive-through.
Oh, that is
with the clown.
And Then. Is that
and then.
That's that one. Yeah. That's that one.
I've never watched these.
Watch these. They are. I mean, the second one is the most
Is this
divisive.
a stoner movie?
It is, but at the same time, there is something kind of lovably Bill and Ted about it as well.
Okay.
I think at the same time. Although, for a more traditional comedy, we shall, of course, go to Tuesday at 10 p.m. on ITV4. I'm sure you must have seen this in your childhood.
Yeah, National Lampoon's European Vacation. I'm just sort of casting my mind back as
This
to
was
whether...
the second one. This is the second in the National Lampoon's series that began with Vacation, and I think the third one is Christmas Vacation.
What was it that they were all talking about on the Cleaning Up the Town documentary that they'd all worked together on before?
Saturday Night Live.
No, it wasn't Saturday Night Live.
Stripes. A lot of them had worked on
There's
as well.
a lot, yeah. So again, like with National Lampoon, there's a lot of great talent that comes out of like these kind of movies, and I think that's what keeps it iconic in a way. But the second one, does that play out well?
More or less the same as the first one, except instead of going across America this time, they're going across Europe. To be honest, a lot of this ground got covered again in Eurotrip in 2004.
I have seen Eurotrip.
but this doesn't have Scotty doesn't know.
Okay.
So, I mean, it is great, though. Chevy Chase, still a blast.
Yeah.
And speaking of a blast...
Chevy Chase, sorry, not aged well.
No, he has not. Although I like the title of his biography, which is I'm Chevy Chase and You're Not.
Oh, nice.
Yes, great for
Tell
him.
it how it is. So that is ITV4, 10 o'clock on Tuesday.
Take me to Wednesday, Miss Perfect.
Well, no, Get Out.
Oh, it's a classic.
Oh, sorry. Film 4, 9 o'clock. I'm amazed that this is on Film 4 already.
Yeah, well, it's been high profile. We've had Us since. I think the attention now is very firmly on Us. It's had its its run on Sky Cinema. It's won every award it could possibly win, short of Best Picture, which I will argue it deserved last year.
100%.
It's a great movie. It is, just busts.
Great acting from Daniel Kaluuya.
But for my money, it's all about Bradders. It's Bradley Whitford.
So how long has this been going on, this thing? How long?
4 months.
4 months?
5 months, actually.
She's right. I'm wrong. Attaboy. Better get used to saying that.
Please, I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. She's right. I'm wrong. See?
Does he have an off button? This is exhausting.
I know. I want to give you a tour.
Can we, unpack first?
You want to unpack? Before the tour?
Bradders, ladies and gentlemen.
Bradders, okay. But to be honest, this one, I mean, you will have heard it around was it last year's award ceremony? I think it was, wasn't it? It kind of kicked off through that, and to be honest, it was groundbreaking because of all the right reasons, having, more people of diverse sort of cultural backgrounds being nominated. Jordan Peele,
Exactly. What a debut. I mean, we don't think about this because it was only 3 years ago, but Jordan Peele was a comic. He was a comedian. Nobody knew he had this in him. Now we think of him as the great intellect.
Yeah.
As one of the best writers around.
Well, I actually have to say, before all of this and before us, I had no idea who Jordan Peele really was.
I was a big Key and Peele fan, which is one of my sort of favourite comedies the last few years was the Key and Peele show. A lot of which is on YouTube. They specifically designed it.
I quite like the fact that I thought he came out of nowhere.
I would thoroughly recommend checking out some of Key and Peele, and there are some absolutely amazing sketches.
Yeah. Now, we've got not one but 2 Bruce Willis films.
No. Oh, yeah, we have. Sorry.
Yeah. Don't look at me like that because you're making me
we have. Our second.
check my knowledge there. But Thursday sees The Last Boy Scout come back on our screens, ITV4, 11:10 p.m. Late timing for this. It should be earlier.
I know, but you know what? It is on earlier in the week, and it was on later at night. So I thought, when I saw it was on an hour earlier, I thought, I'm going to have that. Last Boy Scout, in which Bruce plays Joe Hallenbach, a down-on-his-luck, borderline alcoholic private detective who teams up with a disgraced NFL linebacker played by Damon Wayans to solve the murder of Halle Berry. And we've got a clip of Bruce Willis discovering Bruce McGill boning his wife.
Look, Joe. Keeping it warm for me, Mike? Easy. Don't do nothing dumb. How was she? On your finger scale, how was my wife? It just happened, Joe. Sure, I know. It just happened. Could happen to anybody. It was an accident, right? Whoops. I'm so sorry, Mrs. H. I guess this just isn't my week.
Joe, put the gun down, please.
Oh, yeah, the gun.
Lovely.
Shane Black writing and directing, absolutely great movie. So many one-liners. A bit of a bomb when it opened, but I think when it hit DVD earlier than that video and then DVD, it did become a bit of a cult thing.
Yeah.
Absolutely worth checking out. I love this movie so much.
Sort of vintage Bruce Willis, isn't
Vintage Bruce.
Yeah, I love it. Right, now next week sees the launch of the newest Bad Boys. Bad Boys for Life. They will probably do a better rendition of that than
I'm sure they will.
But to lead you into that, on Friday night on Sony Movies at 9 o'clock is Bad Boys, the original. Bad Boys, what you gonna do?
And of course, I mean, one of my favourite moments in the film. I mean, we had a difficult time finding a clip for this, by the way, because there is so much foul language in Bad
Just
Boys.
the way I like it.
Here's Will Smith putting a gun to Michael Imperioli's head.
What's up, Joe? What? You pulling a gun on me? You guys are cops. I can't believe this. I should turn you into hard copy. Put your ass on the TV set.
Yo, what are you doing, man?
I got this.
Jojo, I got 15 bullets in this gun.
Mike!
And I swear, if you don't start talking to me, I'm gonna fill your lying ass full of some hot Now, what's up?
Mike! He's a former ganja-smoking motherfucker. He ain't worth it. Do you want something? I'll bust your ass, too.
So sad. You on your own, Jojo.
Just a gentle rom-com then.
Just it is a bit. I mean, I love this film so much. It is iconic. And it was iconic pretty much from the minute it came out.
Yeah.
I mean, with the great pairing of the two of them, Martin Lawrence, Will Smith. Taylor Leone was just a goddess in my eyes.
Oh, I love Taylor Leone. And where is she now?
Married to one of my heroes.
Who?
David Duchovny, yo.
Oh, yeah, she's still married to him. I thought they got divorced.
So. Did they get divorced? I hope they didn't. I was so pleased for him. He deserved it.
I could be wrong. It's just my celeb gossip knowledge.
Yeah,
could be totally wrong.
Double D, baby. He got the tear. But, and then he got to be in Californication, so that man literally lived the dream.
Yeah.
I mean, what's left to say about Bad Boys? It was so good they made a sequel, and then that was so good they made another sequel a couple decades later, which we get to review next week.
I'm excited.
Can't wait for that. But of course, Bad Boys 1, Sony Movies, 9 p.m. Good week.
Good week. Yeah, good week for TV. Really good week for... I mean, it's kicking off 2020 in both cinema and at home in a really positive way. I think
we're rocking this.
Yeah, we're rocking it.
And we're back, and you know what else is back this year? Shiny discs. I'm kidding. It's 2020. Nobody's into shiny discs. But of
I'm
course,
speechless.
Well, I mean, you can still buy them, though, and they do release new ones every week, which is a nice indicator of what you can also buy on online video stores.
Dan, I asked you to lead in this segment because you know it's not just about shiny discs. It's about
streaming.
It's about streaming. It's about any sort of platform, video on demand, whatever you want to watch on. But if next time, if you're not going to do it properly, I'm not going to let you do it, okay?
I know, you give me an inch, I just take a mile. Speaking of which, let's talk about It Chapter 2, which comes out
Talk about taking an inch.
Yeah, talk about taking an inch and running a mile. So It Chapter 2, sequel to the massive mega hit adaptation of It from 2017.
I was so excited about this.
I know, me too. And how much of a letdown was this?
Yeah,
I mean,
sadly.
Yeah, so this is obviously, we had the kids section. This is now the grown-up section. This is exactly 27 years later, when the gang reform in the town of Derry to take on the now returned Pennywise.
That echo? We might have changed it. Just like it changed us, but we didn't stop it. Because it just bounced back. We made an oath. That's why I brought you back. That's why you're here. To finish it. For good.
Well, that got dark fast.
Still terrifying, but too CGI'd in this movie.
Too CGI'd, but also I thought they made Pennywise too conventional a movie monster in this one, whereas in the first movie he's actually psychologically terrifying.
Yeah.
Which is weird, because in the second one they're making more of a concerted effort to make him seem like a more psychologically terrifying character.
I like we talked about this when we reviewed it, but I like the bit around the Chinese restaurant table, and it reminded me of, what was that film with Brad Renfro?
The Sleepers. Yeah,
Sleepers.
That was the conversation we had.
Yeah, that is the
Yeah.
conversation, because it was very nostalgic in that respect, like a group of friends, maybe the last time they'll see each other, and this is what happens.
Well, they wound up doing this exact thing when they made The Defenders for Netflix, and they had all the Marvel characters set around the table. The same exact kind of thing. I didn't really rate It Chapter 2.
I think, again, it's the overhype, because the first one was so good that this one kind of lets it down, but still worth a watch to some extent, I think.
To finish it, really,
yeah,
isn't
just
it?
to finish it and see where it goes with it. But
also, Bill Hader, very good in it.
Yeah.
Give him his due.
Yeah, and also Jessica Chastain. Like, the cast is good. I think it's the script that let it down. It just didn't quite work for me. But, you know, if you're a fan of the first movie, you'll be intrigued to see what the second one is. Don't worry, you don't need to hide behind your pillows for this one. It's not particularly scary.
And the Old Spice guy plays Mike. True story. So, speaking of Old Spice,
Yes.
Rambo, Last Blood. Stallone is back, and this time he's taking on Mexicans.
Yeah, but was this even in the cinema? I mean...
It was, and we didn't get press shown it. They deliberately kept it from us because they actually had junkets and actually had journalists go and talk to Stallone without seeing the film. That is a genuine thing.
That sounds silly.
Yeah, and you know what they didn't get to see? This.
I want revenge.
Ride till I can't no more. Tell me nothing.
I want them to know that death is coming. And there's nothing they can do to stop it.
Yeah, they didn't miss much.
Oh, I was just going to say, well, now that you've seen it...
Yeah, they didn't miss much. It was garbage.
Was it?
It is a garbage movie for garbage.
Why did they even bother doing the junket?
Coming off the back of the fourth one, which I think was just called Rambo, or in some circles called John Rambo, this is a massive climb down. Rambo was a great movie. This is just drivel. This is a very late 80s, early 90s, almost direct-to-video quality thing. In fact, it reminded me a lot of Stallone's remake of Get Carter. It was about that level of quality.
Well,
not a fan.
It makes sense as to why it's on our Blu-ray DVD list. Shall we move on to streaming?
So let's move on to streaming, of which, the pickings are a bit slim this week. We've got two that are both out on Friday the 17th. By the way, both those DVD titles and on-demand titles are out on Monday the 13th, by the way. Streaming Friday, January 17th. We've got a couple to choose from. We've got the fourth season of a show I've been quite enjoying, I must admit.
Hip Hop Evolution.
Hip Hop Evolution, which is the story of hip hop. That's what
okay,
it is.
Fine. I thought it was that.
It's not Dance Dance Revolution, if that's
No,
okay.
no. It was that one with Cardi B and T.I. and stuff, the like X Factor for hip hop
Oh,
stars.
no. This is the complete history of.
Oh, I love it. Okay.
Yeah, it is worth looking at how the genre has evolved over the years, etc. We've also got, now, I missed out on the chance to see this live on stage, and I really regretted it. And it's, of course, Rob Delaney's stand-up show, which is called Jackie. The title refers to a friend of his who mysteriously went missing. But it's Rob Delaney, so you sort of know the level of comedy to expect.
I don't know who Rob Delaney is.
Have you seen Catastrophe?
No.
No?
Oh, is he the lead in Catastrophe?
He's the lead in Catastrophe.
I know who he is. I didn't know he was a comedian.
He's also the guy in Deadpool 2. You know, the sort of schlubby human who just turns up and wants to join the X-Force.
Oh.
Yeah, you know the guy. I forget his name. Like Pete or something, isn't it?
Oh, okay.
But
He's got my attention.
He's a very funny man.
Yeah.
My friend John Dickinson went to see this on stage. He had an absolute ball. Understandably so, as I say. Bob Delaney, whenever I've seen him do stand-up, it has always been great. I've been around long enough now to remember when Rob Delaney made his name on Twitter. Rob Delaney was the first success story, really, of Twitter.
Oh, that's good.
He was a comedian who found his niche tweeting jokes, and that then started his career. And he's wound up on Netflix.
If only it was that simple, we would be millionaires by
I
now.
know, right? We keep the lights on through sponsors and ads and dealies. But we could just be tweeting.
We could.
But
We're
anyway,
not.
So in the meanwhile, that kind of wraps us off for this week.
Yeah, and I mean, you know what? I think it's a stronger week for going to the cinema and watching stuff on bog standard telly box.
I mean, next week is going to be a bit all over the show.
Yeah.
So next week we've got, I'm just going to say there's one movie I know isn't very good, there's one movie I know is very good, and there's one movie that I'm dreading seeing. So, yeah. So next week, in no particular order, in relation to what I just said.
Well, shall I say? Because I don't know which ones are your...
Okay, what we got next week then?
So we've got Just Mercy.
Just Mercy is next week, yes.
We've got Bombshell.
Bombshell is next week as well.
Bad Boys for Life.
Bad Boys for Life, yes.
And I don't know what the fourth one is.
Terrence Malick's latest film, A Hidden Life, is next week.
I'm just going to tell by your tone.
That's the one I'm dreading seeing because it's Terrence Malick. It can go either way.
It's also going to be really long, so you can take the bullet on that one.
I'll take the bullet on that one, also because they sent me the award screener for that. So
you can take the bullet on that one from the comfort of your own home.
I'm going to buy a couple bottles of Pinot, plonk them on the coffee table this weekend.
Pass out before it reaches hour one.
And see if the wine or the movie end first. That's what's going to happen.
I know what I've got my money on.
So, I mean, that's it. That's it for me this week. I've been Van Connor.
I've been Becks Perfect, and this has been Offscreen, your 7-day guide to movies. Boom.